Hello, YouTube world. Welcome to another, I guess you can call episode in what's supposed to be a series of shows. It's just voiceover, no visual, no video. It's supposed to be like a radio style so you can listen while I know I'm just repeating myself from last week while you wash the dishes. I don't know what you can be doing other stuff while listening to this. Maybe you're playing games on your Xbox. I don't know what people do these days. Um, while listening to this, maybe you're on your car driving somewhere. I don't know. I got this tea right next to me here on the laptop here in my so-called office station. If you know me personally, you know I'm a tea addict. I'm addicted to tea. Not this type of tea though. As much as I love and enjoy this lemon tea, I always prefer the traditional, ordinary tea. No lemon, no raspberry, none of that gimmicks. Just the ordinary tea. Love that ordinary tea. All types of tea. Lipton, brisk. Um, I almost said breast there. Um, brisk tea. Um, I lost my train of thought. Arizona tea, bridge tea, or whatever that brand name is. Um, what's the other one called? I don't know, but if it's a tea, I love it. And I'm talking ordinary tea, not lemon tea, not raspberry, not mango tea, just ordinary tea. I do enjoy this lemon tea my wife chooses to make me or make us, but I always did prefer ordinary tea, and I'm not saying that to like put her down or anything to say, oh, why are you making me this tea? No, I do like this tea still. I'm just saying that my addiction is comes from ordinary tea. Still enjoy this lemon tea, like I said. Okay, this show is about me just talking about random subjects, mostly in what I enjoy in entertainment, what I've been watching in entertainment, maybe criticize things in entertainment, who knows. But this show, I'll talk about stuff like that. And I'll also occasionally bring up subjects like my tea, just like on the previous episode where I talked about my energy drink that I had. Um, so now I'm talking about tea for some whatever reason that wasn't plan. None of this I talk about with notes on the side. No, that's not how I roll on this show. This show is supposed to be about things I like in entertainment, but I always talk about drinks, right? First it was that energy drink on that first show, and now the tea and how much I'm addicted to it. And actually, that part, the first 10 minutes of this program were pre-tape a couple of weeks ago. Now it's another day, another night. I don't know if you heard it, but I just opened up another can here of juice, Monster Energy juice. It's a pink can, the color pink can of Monster Energy. And I can use that energy because, well, it's damn summertime and it's getting hot all over here, y'all. And I didn't sleep too much, but that's okay. I got this monster to help me out with that. Once again, not sponsor. I just like to let you all know what I'm drinking while I take these things for whatever reason. Okay, now let's talk about or a few things here in entertainment that I watched the past couple weeks. First of all, how can you not talk about the newest Marvel movie, Avengers Endgame? What a heck of a movie. I enjoyed it. If you haven't watched by now, I do apologize if I give away anything, but it's been out and released for almost a month now, so like 4 weeks. If you haven't watched it by now, I mean, that's your problem. I mean, expect spoilers to get around for the next couple of weeks and months, because I'm assuming, and I'm not just talking about myself, anyone on the internet. I mean, to spoil it for you, get off the internet if you haven't watched it, and don't expect not to be spoiled. I mean, if I go this long waiting to see and still have not watched a new movie, and I know everyone's gonna be posting stuff about it on the internet, including YouTube, which basically the only place on the internet that I go that could possibly spoil things unless I'm googling for the spoilers myself, and I actually get stuff spoiled um for a movie I never watched, and that's kind of my fault for not watching it. A month or so in, and as the longer it goes without me catching up and watching the film, the the more it's okay if it's spoiled, because it's like, okay, the movie's been out for 2 months and then 3 months, and then it's like, if the came out an year ago and you still haven't watched it, it's like, come on, we expect people not to ever talk about it or produce a video about it? Come on, be realistic. It's your damn fault for not going to see the movie. If you're really that into it, if you're really that into it, you would have watched it by now. Come on. Or you're not a big fan, as my brother would say. Speaking of which, how hypocritical. He still hasn't watched it. My brother has still not gone to watch Avengers Endgame. Now, this movie, if you haven't watched it, or if you have, you might agree that it's very entertaining. It has its comedic moments, like Thor gaining weight after the depression of everybody died or dissolved into nothing, or whatever you want to call it, at the end of Infinity War. So now Thor has gained weight. He's an alcoholic, and they do that in a very comedic fashion. It's very entertaining. There's some jokes about Captain America's ass that are very hilarious as well. Just very funny go-to stuff, and it's pretty entertaining. And I like the whole movie aspect, not just the comedy stuff. But all in all, I really did enjoy the movie. Um, my wife seems to have enjoyed it as well. She loved it too. Um, my friend, he gave a very he said he enjoyed it as well. That's it. I don't know. I don't talk to that many people, and the very few people I do talk to, well, that's the only two people that I can say have seen it. Again, my brother hasn't gone to see it, so can't give his opinion on it. But I'm just telling you that it's, in my opinion, it was a good movie. So if you haven't checked it out, go and spend that few extra money you have on it. You won't regret it. In my opinion, it was a good movie, very well worth the price of admission, and it's not just my word, but my wife's word as well, and my friend enjoyed it as well. So there's that. By the way, it's 101 degrees here locally in South Texas, and it's only gonna get hotter and hotter as we go more into the summer. It's horrendous, guys. I sweat a lot. I'm telling you, I sweat a whole bunch. I can only imagine how much more hotter it's gonna get. We're only in May. It's gonna be twice as hot in the middle of July, right around 4th of July as well. It's gonna be hotter. If you can't stand this heat, oh my god, I'm gonna die in July. Oh my god, no. Anywho, so when was it? A week or so ago, we checked out this show on Netflix, The Umbrella Academy. We watched 3 episodes, I believe. Then we decided to stop. I mean, we didn't watch it consistency, like 3 in a row. We watched one, and maybe a day or two later, we saw a second one. Then a few nights later, we saw the third one, okay? And then we decided to, stop watching because there were some parts to the series in this TV show that originally aired. No, I do believe it wasn't on TV. It was just straight to Netflix, one of those Netflix straight to Netflix shows, right? I believe so. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I know I read about it sometime after we watched the first episode. From what I remember, it was straight to Netflix, and it just came out, I think, like as we started watching. I think it had just been released a day or 3 or 4 days before. Anyways, what was my point? What was I getting at? Oh, so we watching this show, and there's some parts that are interesting about it. Well, there's a lot to be bored of. It moves at a very slow pace. The story advances very slowly, and because of that, there's not a lot of stuff to keep you wanting to watch more and more and more. So because of that, we just had to put an end to it and be like, we can't watch this anymore. I mean, it's not enough. It's not that interesting, so it's just couldn't continue. Just our thoughts, just our opinions. Okay. Also, a few weeks ago, at the very start of May, we checked out this film that was released on Netflix that I've been anticipating for. It's the Ted Bundy film. It's extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. It's the movie based on the real life serial killer Ted Bundy, but the movie is from the perspective of his former girlfriend, Elizabeth Kendall, or whatever her last name is. Probably misword the last name. But I believe it's a 2 hour film. It's a very long one, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. Um, a lot of people criticize it, but I think they're wrong, in my opinion. It was a good one. I and if you checked it out, I mean, you probably have your own opinion as well. But here's the thing: when for me, it's a little bit different because um, I read about Ted Bundy years ago on a book of on crime. And I believe that book belonged to my sister when she was in college and studying criminal justice, right? So I found that book later on at our parents' house when I lived there, right when I was about 21 or 22, right after I left college. Anyways, um, so I read that book. A lot of different stories about different serial killers, including Ted Bundy, right? So this film is based on him. So before I even saw this movie, it was about a year ago, or more than a year ago, I believe in 2017, where I read about this movie was going to be made with Zac Efron. Zac Efron is on it. He plays the role of the serial killer Ted Bundy himself. Um, and I believe I announced that on a horror news video that I used to do, that series of horror news. Um, And since 2017, I've been waiting for this film to come out. So when it finally came out on Netflix, I was ready to watch. One, because I had read a lot about this Ted Bundy on that book, and I had done even more reading up about him that wasn't on that book, on his Wikipedia and other sources online. For years and years, I done a lot of reading about Ted Bundy and other serial killers, right? For whatever reason that's my interest. I don't know. So I watched this movie knowing not exactly memorize everything about what his life was, but kind of had a general idea of what it was gonna be. So maybe a lot of people going into this film had little idea what it was gonna be. Maybe they just knew, oh, this guy was killer, but they didn't know much about him. Maybe they didn't know his charm and um, his attitude and stuff, which is maybe why there's a lot of criticism, because they're like, most of the criticism I heard of goes from, well, they make him look too charming and lovable, but that's how he was, so they had to push what's the damn word? They had to present him like that in the film, so it's accurate to who he was in real life. So if you know that and you understand that, you will really appreciate this film. I did. I enjoyed it. My wife seems to have enjoyed it as well. And now a lot of people, including myself, are excited that Disney purchased Fox or whatever you want to call it, and now the X-Men universe can be part of this Marvel Cinematic Universe. Finally, back home together, the X-Men characters with Marvel. Also, the Fantastic Four. So everyone's excited for future films of X-Men featured in the MCU. But they have announced that it's gonna take probably 5 or 6 years till you get some of those X-Men characters as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Probably not somewhere in Phase 4 of the MCU, but maybe it could be a long time from now. So don't wait on any of that soon. The main reason being is that since they have a X-Men films coming up. It's Dark Phoenix that's coming up this summer, June 7th, I believe. And then the New Mutants, that's another X-Men film that's coming out next April of 2020. All other films after that have been canceled. Um, I guess you can say they have been abandoned just because I guess they weren't finished yet. Well, it says here 20th Century Fox had multiple films planned in various stages of development and now been abandoned since Disney now has purchased the right. Disney owns the Marvel Studios, by the way. Um, so yeah, yes, X-Men is originally a Marvel, but it has sold the rights to 20th Century Fox. So now that they're back in the same home, now you can see what you all been dreaming of seeing. It's Wolverine and all these X-Men characters fight alongside the Marvel characters like Spider-Man and Captain America, whoever else. Okay, so the projects that have been canceled is X-Force, Gambit. Thank goodness, that was going to be a terrible one, in my opinion. There's um, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has been abandoned, including X-23, the film of um, Laura, who is I guess, daughter of Logan. Let's continue the storyline that started on the film Logan. And let me read something here. In March 2019, the Walt Disney Company acquired the film rights for the X-Men after the A quick deal of 21st Century Fox was complete. The films in development under 20th Century Fox were placed on hold while Disney decided their fate. Further X-Men films would be under supervision of Marvel Studios, with Dark Phoenix and New Mutants surviving as the final films in 20th Century Fox for X-Men film series. The, the reason it looks like it's because they just want to end the series of the X-Men from the 20th Century Fox, and then let it die out for a few years, right? And then refresh, start from scratch, and make their own style, their own version of what they feel X-Men films should be, and rightfully so, since Marvel is who originally created um, the X-Men character. They should probably do it based on the fact how they do their Marvel films. Will probably do the X-Men films just as great. Because let's be honest, as good as some of those X-Men movies were, and some were good, but some were kind of bad, and parts of it logically did not make sense, and the plot holes and everything, timelines were kind of bad, produced by 20th Century Fox. I mean, so now that Disney and Marvel is going to be behind it again, um, or finally, right, then it should be better and improvement, but they're going to take a couple years to start from scratch and first introduce them in solo films. The only thing I, I would be upset about, not too upset, but I want to see them keep Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. If they can't keep Ryan Reynolds at Deadpool, or if they just don't have that character in the MCU at all, it would be sad for me because it's Disney, so I don't know if they're gonna want a character that's edgy like Deadpool, but who knows? We'll see, and hopefully it all works out great at the end. Um, I'm still excited about that for the future films of Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it looks like there's two actors in the running to be the next Batman character. It's between Robert Pattinson, age 33. You may know him as the character Edward from Twilight Saga, or it's either him or it's going to be Nicholas Hoult, age 29. You may know him as the guy who plays the Beast in the X-Men films. Guys, let me tell you, I don't really care who plays the next Batman. I've never been a big fan of Batman. I could care less, to be honest. I'm not hating on either of these guys if they do play Batman or they don't. Doesn't matter to me. Because I think, based on past Batman movies that I've seen, or any DC films that I've seen lately, Suicide Squad, um, Justice League, I think that regardless of the actor, you can take the world's greatest actor and put him as Batman. The guy who fits the best in the world as the character Batman. You can find him and put him in this movie as the next Batman. But the creative and the film itself, if it's not good, it's not going to be good, regardless of who the actor is portraying the Pac-Man character. It doesn't matter to me because I've seen, um, I went to go watch Suicide Squad with some expectations, and it looked like it was going to be great, and it kind of wasn't that good. It was good, but it wasn't anything extraordinary, like, you know what I'm saying? And same thing with Justice League. It was good, but could it have been better? Sure, it could have been better, and they didn't do it better, and that's where the disappointment comes in. I'm not that big into DC when it comes to films. Um, Series, I think that DC does. on the CW could be a lot better. I mean, I checked out Arrow a few times. It looks great. And same thing with The Flash. I love it. By the way, waiting to check out the newest season when it hits Netflix later this month, in a few days actually. Um, but yeah, so I can care less who plays the character of Batman next, whether it's Pattinson or Nicholas. Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I think that regardless of who the actor is, the movie is either going to be good because of the writing and everything that goes to making this film go, um, or it's gonna be bad because of the same reasons, because the writing and the creative and the producing and everything that goes into it is just bad. So I don't think it comes down to who the actor is that makes the film good or bad. I think it comes down to the writing and the producing and all those things that go into developing the film. So that being said, it doesn't matter to me whether it's Robert Pattinson or this Nicholas Holt guy. Um, doesn't matter. But those are the two top guys in the running to play the next Batman. Whoever it is at the end, like I said, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't make a difference at all. I mean, Will Smith was in Suicide Squad and didn't make that film any better, did it? So who really cares about who plays what character in what film? Anyways, I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention this, but here comes a big spoiler alert if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame. And I know I already spoke about it earlier, but I forgot to give my opinion on this, or this statement on this. Um, Iron Man dying at the end. Um, I kind of didn't get that by surprise, because months ago, I would say 7, 8 months back to before this film got released, I had read supposed rumors of Iron Man's character dying off. Um, so I guess that played into the emotions of when I saw him actually die in the film. It was like, oh, okay, no big deal. I saw that coming. Also, most probably, I would assume, because I never got close to the character, because to be honest, I never checked out an Iron Man film. Not Iron Man 1, not Iron Man 2, not Iron Man 3. Matter of fact, the only Marvel films that I've seen were Spider-Man solo films and Avenger movies. The only Captain America movie that I did saw was Captain America Civil War, but that's basically an Avengers film more, because you have more than just Captain America. Usually solo films I do not check out. Um, so that's probably one of the other reasons too, because I didn't, grow with a character for 10 years. So when I saw him die, it was no biggie for me. It was a little sad to see Spider-Man, Peter Parker be sad about it. But other than that, it wasn't too sad for me, in my opinion, and from my perspective, viewpoint. Let's now talk about this Sonic the Hedgehog film that's coming up later this year. I believe it's in November. It looks awful in a lot of people's opinions. I completely agree. And according to the movie studio that is making this movie, was the Paramount Pictures, I believe, they announced that they're gonna fix the character design of one Sonic. Um, they're gonna fix that CGI effect or whatever the case is. It'll improve the character's look. A lot of the complaints is from the gloves. Not gonna get too much into that, but I do agree it looks bad, and there's a lot of reasons why, but I'm gonna give a different take on it. In my opinion, one of the main reasons it looks bad to me is that you got this character of Sonic, and he's in the human world. I always pictured, well, not always, but if I have pictured Sonic being in a live action type of film, I would want it to be where it's in its own universe with all other these cartoony characters or whatever. Not in our universe, in its own world, so everything around it looks to be in its own universe, and it fits in, and the character of Sonic wouldn't look out of place and weird and strange, and no, with everything being too human and everything taking place on our Earth, it just makes the Sonic character just look out of place, because the universe around it is in our world rather than it being on its own world. You can have Sonic, you can have Tails, all these other characters, but have it take place on its own realm of universe. It takes place in its own island, or in its own universe, not in our real life world. That's the way I would want the Sonic live action adaptation to be. But by the looks of the trailer, it's not anywhere near like that. No, they made that mistake, in my opinion, trying to bring Sonic into our world instead of utilizing them in their own realm, in its own universe. That's just my take on it. That's my opinion. But regardless, yes, the design of the character looks awful, and the comedic stuff that is not even funny to anyone that they bring out in the trailer, it just makes it even look even more ridiculous. Now, I don't know if it's the size out of the character. I don't know. It's just bad. But that's my outtake on it. That's my opinion. If it was on its own universe and everything around it, the background looked like to be in his own universe, it would be a lot less ridiculous, because everything would match together to present to us this whole world where, okay, we're not on our planet Earth, we're not on our universe, okay, we're on its. And so now it's confusing for people watching. It's like, okay, so it's like Sonic from outer space, or is he an alien presented to us in this film? That just takes away from what the real story is supposed to be. I don't know what this is. It's really complicated and confusing to us original fans. I think they play too much into the children, probably, but I don't think they'll be that into it, the kids. That's just my opinion on that. Um, or if they wanted to do, I'm all for a Sonic film, don't get me wrong. They could have kept it just animated, no live action adaptation. They could have kept it animated, a regular cartoon like it always used to be, just with a theater release, a full-length film. Or they could have done the thing more modern, a 3D model, computer generated animation, similar to a Toy Story film, or modern day animations, where it's produced by computer apps and software or whatever. You get what I'm saying? The 3D model animation, that would have been a better adaptation to a film. But no, instead they went with live action, which would have worked out great if it was all in its own universe rather than bringing Sonic into our universe. And I don't know how they're gonna explain that, if they're gonna at all. And that's just my take on it. That's just my opinion. So yeah, and yes, I do have a problem with the glove itself, but I don't want to get too much into that. I'm pretty sure y'all heard and read about that too many times, and I don't want to give out the same complaints that everybody else is dishing out. So let's just move on to the next conversation in hand. In case you're wondering, I not seen the new Pikachu Detective Pokemon film, and I'm not gonna check it out, and I can't really give my opinion on it, even based on the trailer that I've seen, because I'm not a huge fan of Pokemon and Pikachu. I don't know a whole lot about those characters in that universe, so I feel like I should just keep my mouth shut about that, because to me there's a lot I don't know about its history, and so how can I give my opinion? I'm just saying that right now to let you all know in case you're thinking, well, give your opinion on that. I really can't. All I can say is that the image of the Pikachu to me, it looks too not good in my opinion. I don't know. That's just my take on it. But again, that's all I can say really based on looks. Um, so then there was another movie we saw about a week or two ago. Um, we got it on Redbox, and it was my wife's choice. Actually, she wanted to watch this one. It's um, it's a film called Escape Room. So the Escape Room is the movie we saw on Redbox a number of weeks ago, a week or two ago. I thought it was good. It was very creative. I did enjoy it. I thought it was something out of the box thinking for a movie. It wasn't anything cliche or anything to complain about. So overall, I did enjoy this film. So if you have your chance to watch the movie, you have an opportunity to watch Escape Room. Check it out. I promise you will have fun watching it. That's my take on it. Um, any memorable moments on that film? Just a lot of, like I said, I thought it was very creative. Um, and that's my opinion on it. There's not a lot of cool moments that I remember off the top of my head, but that's because of my memory issues. That was about 2 weeks ago that I saw it, I believe. But I did remember enough to bring it up. So, and I do recall enjoying it. So if that's enough for you to watch a movie, please do so. I mean, you don't have to. I'm just getting the point of the show. Well, not really the point of the show, but I'm just telling you what I think. I mean, and I recommend it, and you can take my word or not. Yeah, but it was a good movie. It's not bad. I promise you, you won't be bored. You won't click. You won't turn off halfway in the film. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. It has a lot of different scenes that will, make you think, wow, who thought of this craziness? And because of that, I enjoyed it. It's not an everyday film that you can, be like, oh, that's too similar to this or that's too, because there's a lot of movies that you can probably watch that you're in the horror franchise. I guess you can categorize this in that you'll watch and be like, that's I've seen that over and over again. That cliche, just different elements. I think this one over and all, it's more out of the box thinking than usual other horror films. That's just what I got out of it, my opinion. If anyone out there is a reader and you like to be recommended any good book to read, that's a mystery murder type of book, I read one. I purchased this book, in fact, a couple years ago. I would say about 3 years ago from the bookstore at our local mall. Um, this is actually the first book that I purchased ever. Um, I decided at that time I was going to start reading these type of books and get into them. Mystery, murder, this is the type of books and stories I like to read. Let me read the back print here that basically is the summary of what the book is about, because I could explain it in my own words, but I wouldn't do it justice. You wouldn't understand what my point is. So let me just quote this very quickly. Lights, camera, with painstaking care, he casts his victims, each woman resembling an Alfred Hitchcock star, each killing echoing six of the legendary director's film. The only clue he leaves behind is a gruesome video of his handiwork, but the video killer shoots the death scenes as he believes they should have been done with total realism. Of course, there's some character development and all this. Once again, the title of the book is Video Kill. It's written by, let me see if I can read this name correctly. The author is Joanne Fluke. That's how I'm reading it. I don't know if that's proper. It's not that long of a book. It's 25 chapters. It has an epilogue and a prologue, in case you wanted to know. And in my copy at least, it has a little preview of the next book she wrote after this one. I recommend this. If you didn't understand the summary, now I'm going to read it. I'm going to explain it in my own words in case you didn't catch that. Basically, it's about these two script writers, right? They have an idea for this story called Video Killer, right? Where the video killer basically kills his victims and records them, right? But their pitch for this film is turned down, and they're given an option instead. Okay, a 1-year option. If you work in the movie industry, you pretty much know what that means. If not, I don't know. I can't really explain that to you, but that's how it's worded in the book, as best I remember. Remember, I read this 3 years ago when I purchased it, and I believe I went back and read it a second time, maybe a year after I first read it. So I read this book twice, right? I liked it. I still have it with me. I might read it again a third time soon. Who knows? But I did enjoy it. So then they're giving it up. Okay, a year later, someone is actually doing what the movie they pitched. They're not making the movie. I mean, a real life serial killer in this book is killing the victims and recording them, and that's when the studio in this story is saying, okay guys, now that this topic is coming to fruition and it's red hot, okay, now you guys are getting the green light to make the film, but it has to be based on this unknown killer that we have. And so basically that's what it is. I don't know if you guys pretty much understand it, but go and Google it yourself. Video Kill. It's an option. You guys can read up on and get a better understanding of what this is about. It's just my recommendation if you're into these type of books, novels, I don't know what you want to refer to them. That is something I recommend. I did enjoy it. There's another book that I purchased about maybe 5 or 6 months after that first book. So this one's also, I got my hands on 3 years ago. A few months after that first book. Bought in the same bookstore here locally. Books A Million. That's no longer at our mall. And this one's titled No One Needs to Know. It's also a murder mystery. I'm not sure. 38 chapters, I believe. Could be a little bit more than that. It does seem to be a little bit longer than the first book. It does have an epilogue as well. Let's see, I don't recall if it has a prologue. I believe it does. No, it just starts right at chapter 1. Yeah, it just starts right at chapter. No, there's no prologue. There's just an epilogue, if I saw correctly right now. It does seem a little bit longer, like I said, than the first book that I talked about. And this one's a murder mystery as well. What this one's about is that Let me explain in my own words because I don't think the summary in the back of this one is very understandable. It's a different author though. It's Kevin O'Brien. O'Brien. I don't know if that's pronounced like that. It doesn't seem to be spelled the way I'm pronouncing it, but you go look it up yourself. Again, the title is No One Needs to Know. It's another murder mystery. What it's basically about, in my own words, um, there's a there's a movie being made that is based on a true story in that universe. Because years ago, um, there was a murder in this mansion, and now they're making a movie about it. And I think there's some killing that goes on with the workers that are working in this movie. So it's kind of similar take on it from the previous book. So yeah, go and check out the summary yourself and look up what this story is about. Once again, it's No One Needs to Know by Kevin O'Brien, I believe. I don't know how to really pronounce that last name. My apologies, but it's a great book as well. I did enjoy this one too. I think this one's written a lot better as a writer. I can say. I think it's a little bit more. Um, the word wouldn't be complicated, but I think it's a little bit more not obvious, I guess you can say. There's a lot more things that you got to notice to really, really figure out who the killer is, and it's not like, ooh, that I figure it out before they revealed it. No, I think it's more it's not as simple, I should say, as the first book I'm recommending. Not that it's that simple, the first book, but the second one's a lot less simple. So it's really a lot more interesting, in my opinion. There's also a third book. I purchased it about a year after those two, um, but I never finished that one. I got not even halfway through, so I can't even recommend that one. I think the next time I start reading that, I have to start all over because I recall very little of it. But that third book, the reason I did not finish it was not because it wasn't interesting, but just, I got more busy. I started working and stuff, so there's that. Just my opinion on those. So you want to check out those recommendations if you're a reader. There's something you can look forward to checking out. Check out, at least Google it and see if you could possibly get into it. And if so, try and find it somewhere online to purchase it, or at a bookstore, at the library you can rent it, or wherever you get your books. Here's a topic of conversation for my brother. He's always asking me, hey bro, via text, he'll ask me randomly, when you go and buy shoes, is there a certain brand like Nike or Reebok or whatever the case is that you buy the shoes, that you have to have that brand? And if not, a plan B of a second choice of a brand or whatever. And I'm always like, no, bro, I don't look at the brand. I look at if I like the design of the shoes, how the shoe looks based on its color and its all out design. That's how I choose what shoes I buy when I go shopping for shoes. I can care less if it's a no name or a big famous name brand. That's now how I determine the type of shoes I buy. It's all based on how it looks to me. If I like how it looks and I love the look of the shoe, if I like it, then I'll purchase it. Another thing that comes into play when determining what shoe I purchase is the price. If it's 60, $70 and it just looks like an average shoe I can find at any other store for a cheaper price, then no. If you're gonna be that expensive, because to a guy like me with my budget, $60, $70 shoe is expensive. If it does not look special, it's not worth it. If I can find that same shoe at another store for a cheaper cost, then it's not gonna sell off to me. Okay, so those two things determine if I buy the shoe or not. It does not matter what the brand of the shoe is. It could be Skechers, it could be Nike, it could be whatever other shoes they have out there in the world. It does not matter. First of all, I like the look of the shoe. Okay, how much is it? $45, $50. Okay, that's good. Is it worth it? Yes. Okay. But if it's like 60, 70, usually more often than not, it's not worth it. If it's that much high, it's like, yeah, I can find a better looking shoe for a lower price. But that's just me. That's how I determine what shoe I buy. It's the same thing when it comes to any other clothing. Jeans, t-shirts, jackets, what have you. Anything that I wear isn't picked and selected to purchase based on the brand. I'm not a brand kind of guy. That's not me. That's never been me. That's not ever who I've been. I always been. Do I like how it looks? Do I want this? Yes. Okay. Now look at the price. Is it worth paying X amount of dollars for this new jacket? Is it worth it? Is it in my budget? Can I afford to spend this much on a new jacket? And also, is it necessary? Is it necessarily, do I actually need a new jacket or a new set of shoes or whatever the case is? If I need it, then probably yes, I'll get it. If it's just something I want because I think it looks good, there's a 20 to 30% chance that I will. I've seen a lot of vests at the mall that I find that I enjoy the way it looks. About 10% of me wants it, but then the price is $30 to $40, and to me it's not worth it because it's not something that I necessarily need to buy for sure. Certainly need to have, and also because it's like it looks good, but it doesn't look great that I desire it too much. So all that plays a major role as to whether I purchase the vest or the jacket or the shoes or socks or underwear or whatever it is. It's all determined like that. It's not about brands. It's about the look. Do I like it? Not necessarily, oh, does this look good to the eyes of anyone else? No, it's just, does it look good in my point of view? Do I like how it looks? Most probably. Then yeah, that's how it is to me. Another topic: these strawberry wafer cookies. They were 50 cents when I was in middle school and high school. Now, as an adult here, 29 years old, gonna be 30 in September, these same strawberry wafers now cost over $1. I believe it's $1.45 or something like that. The big difference. Like I said, when I was in middle school and also still during the high school days, these same strawberry wafers or only a 50 cents price wafers at the local Heights Meat Market a block away from my childhood home. That's insane. A big difference in price change. Um, I know it happens. Another thing also that's a big notice in price change is these WWE action figures. I remember during probably entire middle school time to like freshman year that these action figures of WWE were about $7.99, right? And I believe right after that, at sometime during high school, maybe when I was a sophomore in 10th grade, it changed suddenly. The price had gone up to $9.99 and then it still costs that. Yes, a $2 difference I'm ranting and raging about. Yeah, leave me alone. I got nothing else to talk about in the last 5 minutes of this, so I had to set something, okay? But there's a difference in pricing, if you haven't noticed, in different stuff that you purchase now compared to when you purchased it 12, 13 years ago. In case you didn't notice. Now you do. Thank you very much. You're welcome, actually, I should say. Have you guys checked out the trailer for the new Toy Story 4 that's coming up this summer? I believe in June. I believe it's coming out in June. I'm not really looking forward to it. I don't know why. I grew up watching these series of films. I believe I was always close to the age of the Andy character from Toy Story. Because I do remember being a kid when the first movie came out and the character was a kid in the first one. And then when the second one came out, he was still a kid, just like I was still a kid, just 2 or 3 years older. And then when the third movie came out, the character was about to go to college, and I was already in my second year in college. Um, so I would say there's a 2 year age gap between me and the character, and it kind of makes sense. So the reason I'm not looking forward to this Toy Story 4 is because I know Andy is not going to be involved anymore, that character, because he gave away the toys. What? What? Then you didn't really truly love him. You weren't a real fan, as my brother would say. You didn't really love your toys if you were giving them away. I mean, I still have mine since I still have my action figures since that I bought from elementary, middle school, whatever. I still have them. You didn't really love your toys if you're giving them away. You didn't really see Woody as your best friend that you had forever and ever. It's like I wouldn't give away baby Spidey. I wouldn't. I would not. Come on, that just ruined everything for me. No, you didn't. You didn't give them away to your little sister no, you gave them away to a random child that you don't even know. What the heck is wrong with that kid? It just ruined it for me. And by now, the Andy character should have its own children, just like I have a daughter. He should have at least one child, and he should have given those toys to that child, not to a random damn child. Don't even know. That just ruined everything for me. Not only that, but as I look at the trailer and it looks like, yeah, I'm not interested. The damn fork toy, what's up with that? Who came up with that? It's ridiculous. How stone were these animators? Anyways, that last joke was just that. It was just a joke. Calm down. I have nothing against Forky. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. It's called I'm Nobody, episode number 2, because you're listening to this nobody talk about stuff, and I'm one important you should really consider the opinion of, but I'm still putting it out there for the world to listen to. And if you listen to it, I appreciate it. Have yourselves a good night, y'all. Take care.